Hey y'all, welcome to Back Porch Cooking and Reminiscing. I'm Roger and happy to have y'all here with us today. So y'all may have noticed that we haven't got a video posted here in a few days. Reason for that is that I've been down with a major cold and my voice was so messed up, my head's so stopped up that I just didn't want to get on there and do a video for you guys and let you see just how bad I sounded. So I'm feeling better today, sounding better today. So we're going to get us a video done. Have y'all ever had a craving for Mexican food, but you really just didn't want to get ready and make the trip to your local Mexican restaurant? Well, we've been there many, many times ourselves. And so over the years, we came up with a recipe that kind of hits that flavor that we want from our Mexican restaurant, but doesn't require us to actually make a trip there. And that's what I'm going to be doing for y'all today. And this recipe is for a smothered burrito. So stick with us and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. So the first thing that I did was I went ahead and browned a pound and a half of ground beef. I also cooked my onions and my green peppers. And for those of you who catch me every time that I'm doing something with celery and I say green peppers, well, today we are using green peppers. So went ahead and cooked those in with the burger and got that ready. So now we're going to season up this burger. So the first thing we're going to add to it is going to be a half of a tablespoon of, you can use taco seasoning or you can use chili powder, whichever one you prefer. And I'm going to go just a little bit more than a half. All right, and I'm using chili powder today actually. All right, and then the next thing that we're going to use is going to be some minced garlic. And we're going to use about, let's see, I'm going to go with about a little over a half a tablespoon on the minced garlic. And I like garlic, but I don't like it to be overpowering, so we're not going to go totally crazy with that. And now on your garlic, you don't want to put that in until the very last because you just want it to kind of saute just a little bit and to pick up some flavor. So we're just going to do that and we're going to let this heat up a little bit, mix all this in. And then we got a few more things we're going to add to it once we get that all incorporated in. And I did drain this ground beef and get all the juices and the fat off of it, so that has been done. All right, we're going to let that just heat up for a minute or two, and then we'll be back and we'll get our next set of ingredients in there with that. All right, so starting to smell that garlic getting aromatic, and so we're ready. I've cut the heat off on it. And we're going to add in about a half a cup of refried beans. And then we're going to add in about a half a can of chopped green chilies. Now, if you like green chilies, you can add the whole can. It's just totally up to you, but I'm only going to use about a half a can. Maybe it went just a little more than a half a can. We're going to stir all that in, let it heat up. I can tell you it's already smelling good. Like I say, a lot of times you want something with a south of the border flavor, but you just really don't want to make that trip to get it. And so this is something that you can whip up with stuff that you usually got in the freezer or in the pantry, and it's quick, it's pretty simple, and doesn't take a whole lot of time to do it. All right, so we got that part done, and we're just going to now sit this over to the side. We're going to make our sauce. So to make our sauce for our burritos, we're going to take a can of Hormel chili, no beans. Now you can use it with beans. You can use another brand of chili. This is just what we like. So we're going to just dump that in the pot. All right, got that out, and that can came pretty clean. Then we're going to use a can of red enchilada sauce. And this is a 10-ounce can. We just poured that in there on top of it. All right, and then we're going to use just a small 8-ounce can of tomato sauce. I'm going to pour that in there. Give that one a little scrape. All of it didn't seem to come out. All right, and then we're just going to let that heat up. And we're going to stir it all together. Now it's going to make a pretty little red sauce to go on these burritos. All right, so we're going to let that just sit there and warm up a little bit, and then we'll be ready to actually start to roll our burrito. So now we got our meat is ready, and we got our sauce is ready. And in the pan, in the baking dish, I put a little bit of our sauce on the bottom just to have something to lay our burritos in. So now I'm going to make an attempt to wrap this burrito. I'm not super good at it, but hopefully I can get it done. So we put our meat mixture in there, sprinkled just a little bit of cheese over top of it. I didn't put a lot of cheese on it because we're going to be putting cheese on the top of them. So we're going to fold it over, and then we're going to fold that end over, and then we're going to just wrap it. All right, and well, I did a pretty decent job. And then we're going to take that, and we're just going to place it in our baking dish. And then we're going to just keep doing them until we get our baking dish completely filled. And then we will be getting them in the oven, and then I'll show you the last step. So we got our burritos rolled, and we're ready to put the rest of our chili sauce on there. So with this, we're just going to start pouring it over top. And this is what makes them smothered. They smothered with chili sauce. I'm dragging the handle of the pot through the chili sauce. Alright, and we just about got it all in there. Alright, that's it for the chili sauce. Now we're going to come and put us some cheese all over the top of it. And this is just a cheddar cheese. Now, if you like the white cheese, you can use white cheese. You don't have to use cheddar, but that's just what we decided to use on them. Get it all out of that bag. We're going to use the whole bag. Boy, don't you know that's going to be good. All right, and now I've had the oven preheating at 400 degrees. And so we're going to put this in there at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. We're going to check it after 20 minutes and see how it's looking. So we'll be back in about 20 minutes and see what we got. So after 20 minutes in the oven, this is what we've got and what it looks like. So we let it sit here and cool off just a little bit. We're going to put a plate together and we'll be back to show you that plate and give it a taste. All right, y'all. So we've got it plated now. We got our burrito, little lettuce and tomato. And this is where that if you wanted to put you some sour cream on there. I personally don't care for sour cream, so I'm not going to put it on mine. We got some Spanish rice. We got some refried beans, little salsa and chips. And now it's time to do a taste test. So now it's time for us to give it a taste and see how it is. So got me a big old bite here with burrito, some lettuce, and some tomato. And hopefully I can get this in my mouth. All right, so let's give it a try. Hmm. Y'all, for me, that burrito, the meat in it, it's got the perfect seasoning in it. Of course, now, if you like something more spicy, feel free to add something to it to make it spicier. But for me, it's pretty much perfect. And I didn't have to go to the Mexican restaurant, and I didn't spend probably $16 a person just to get this meal. We've probably, I don't know, I would say probably maybe somewhere around $10, $12 for the entire meal. So quite a bit less expensive than going to the Mexican restaurant. Of course, I know they cook it for you, and you will have to cook this yourself, but it's going to be worth it. I promise you. This tastes just as good as anything you're going to get at a Mexican restaurant. So, y'all make it for your family, share it with your friends. Remember, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And I hope y'all will try this, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.